Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. As you know, it's Epic Tours. It's all about fun, food, travel, and being able to work remotely. So not too long ago, you guys saw a video of how to do, like, for example, just some tips on doing a Zoom interview, right? But that was as the employee, right? So you were the one who you were the one applying for the job. So in this case, we're going to look at the interview from the employer's perspective. So how they need to prep for a Zoom interview. It's kind of similar in terms of the approach, in terms of being professional, things like that. But there are some things that they have to do on their end also to make sure the interview runs smoothly. So before we get into it, guys, you know the usual. Remember to like, subscribe, share, all of that. Comment on, maybe bad employers you've had interviews with, good employers you've had interviews with. Let's hear them all. All right, so let's get started. All right, so firstly, for the videos with the interviews from the employee's perspective, you're going to see the card pop up somewhere here at some point in time, so you could look out for that. But let's get started with it from the employer's perspective. So one of the things that they have to do, or I suggest employers do before actually doing the Zoom interview, is they have to do their test runs also, right? Because when you have the interview as an employee, you have to test everything. So I usually recommend that employers also test, because they want to make sure that everything is smooth and clear also, right? At the end of the day, even if you are the person, like the interviewee, first impression does count for you also. So if it's a company and it's kind of looking shady or shabby, then you might change your mind or you might have second thoughts. So as the employer, you still have to portray that professionalism. So you have to make sure the interview, you do your test runs. Also, dress code, ensure that you dress professional for the interview, right? You still want to have some same thing. You don't want to look like you just wake up when it is that you're going to actually, conduct an interview with someone. So the person is going to come looking all nice and sharp and you're there with, your hair wanting to be combed. No, you want to be professional also in terms of what you wear. Another thing, same thing in terms of professional background, right? You want to have maybe a plain background, a bookshelf, a table with some stuff on it. I don't know, something nice and simple. Or if it's a case, as I said, in other videos, you could blur out your background. Whatever it is, just to have that. I know, for example, Zoom specifically has this thing where you could change the background. You could do that, right? But still keep it professional. You don't want to change the background to some club. That wouldn't be smart, right? So you want to change it to something that still has that professional feel if you don't want your background to be shown, right? Another thing is, as the interviewer, you want to budget your time for each interview. Because as you know, if it's an online thing, if it's a link thing, once the person is ready and they click in, they're going to enter the room with your permission or without, depending on how you set it. So you might want to make sure that you set some time. So if the interview is 45 minutes, it takes 45 minutes, set 15 minutes before you start the next interview. So don't just go from 45 minutes and then 5 minutes and into another interview. You don't want to do that. Give it some time so that, give it some leeway, because the interview might not finish 45 minutes on the dot. It might go up to, 50 minutes. So kind of budget the time to make sure that you don't have that happening, right? Budget some time to take a little break, get some water, something, but don't just go from one into another, because that can cause a lot of problems, right? So remember that. Also, you want to look into those background noises that you might have. If you are conducting the interview from home, it's the same concept where you have to make sure that there's no noise, things like that, no distractions, but especially background noises, because you want the interviewee to hear you clearly. So you want to make sure that your background sound is limited. And this goes, you could also mute your microphone when you're not speaking so that the person can speak. That's also a great strategy, just to block out any other sounds, right? Lighting. As you know, lighting is very important. I explained this earlier in another video, so just a quick repeat. Facing the light, it gives you a brighter look, for your videos. You don't want to be behind. You don't want the light behind you, sorry. You want the light in front of you to give you that brightness. All right, so always remember that also. Another tip I usually recommend, like for persons who are interviewing, especially now in the pandemic, honestly, people are so concerned when they do these interviews online. So it's really good to just do a follow-up email. I know that might be a lot on the employer's end, but even if it's some automation, just a follow-up email, just to whether say, when to expect a response, if they get through, if they didn't, because honestly, some companies don't even answer if you get through for the interview or not. And, just to shine some light on everything happening now with all the negativity and everyone being down, so many things happening this year. I think it would be good if, persons just send a little follow-up email. Yeah. Whether to say, you did well, or you'll hear from us soon, or just something. All right. Also, as the interviewer, what I recommend is that you record the interview. Because once you record it, you could always look back on it to see if the candidate would have been someone who you wanted, things like that. So I actually do recommend that strongly, that you record it, save it, review it, right? So don't just choose based on the interview right there and then. I really recommend you save it, review it, go through it, see where the person, pros, cons, whatever it is that you are looking for as the interviewer, and then make your decision. And one more thing, as the interviewer, please, sometimes it's okay, because it's natural that people might have technical problems. So just be a little considerate, right, to technical issues, because genuinely there are some issues that people have no control over. I could be doing an interview right now and electricity goes. That means I doesn't get the job because light went. So for things like that, I really do recommend that interviewers be a little bit considerate to technical issues that can arise, because, they do happen. It's a part of it. So yeah. So guys, I think those are my tips for the interviewer. I hope that helps for anyone who will be conducting interviews soon. And it's, as I said, this video is pretty similar to the one from the employee's perspective. Some of these things can be used in the same way, like muting the microphone on both ends, proper video quality on both ends. So yeah, but these are just a little additional ones for the interviewer. All right, so I feel like I've been ranting. So it was really nice having you guys watching the video today. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate everything and everyone who has been, just liking, sharing, subscribing, sharing for subscribers, all of that. I really do appreciate you guys. And thank you again. And I hope you enjoyed. Bye, guys.